Hey guys, happy quarantine day 355. I'm losing track. Today we're gonna make this adorable loungewear set. I actually downloaded this pattern online and then printed it out at home, which was so easy. So if you've never used a PDF pattern before, I'll show you a little bit how that works, but you don't even have to leave your house. So if you wanna learn how to make your very own loungewear set, then just keep watching. First step, get some coffee. Second step, print your pattern. I bought the pattern online, downloaded it, put it on a little flash drive. So let's go print our patterns. The pattern that I'm using is by Common Stitch, which I'll link below, and I'm just gonna print it out. What happens next, you ask? You gotta tape those babies together. Well, 10 hours later, got them taped together. So any store-bought pattern should come with instructions as well as a sizing chart. So all you have to do is take your measurements, and on this pattern, I am a size 10. It also tells me required notions, which are, buttons, elastic, interfacing, things like that. For this pattern, I'm gonna need 5 buttons. I have exactly 5. 3 to 4 centimeter wide elastic. Okay. How many inches are 3 centimeters?
That would be 1.18 inches.
How many inches are 4 centimeters?
That would be 1.57 inches.
You're gonna need 1.5 inch elastic for all of you fellow Americans out there. Now I'm tracing only the size 10 on the pattern, and I recommend doing this in case you plan on making a different size in the future. I'm creating my own waistband for these shorts, as you can see. So I'm gonna measure the width of the front of the shorts plus the width of the back of the shorts. All right, now I'm gonna take some paper and draw a rectangle, 4 inches long, and then whatever the width of both of my shorts was. I added 1/2 inch seam allowance to both sides, and I'll cut it out. I also improvised and made my own pockets for this pattern, so I'm gonna trace my hand. And then I decided I wanted it just a tiny bit smaller, and there's your pocket. All right, for this pattern, I'm using about 3 yards of this cotton and linen blend. Whoever says you can't make anything a pattern weight, they're wrong. Vitamins, plants, small children, your dog, they all work. I'm gonna load my sewing machine with thread. You already know I'm using my Singer Talent. All right, we're starting with the shorts. First, we need to put the pockets in. So I'm gonna lay the front and the back side of my right leg down, and I'm gonna put the pockets down, right sides together, and we're gonna sew just at the pockets. Once that's sewn on, I'm gonna put those same pieces down, right sides together, and connect them at the sides. So I'm gonna sew down the side seam, around the pocket, and down the rest of the side seam. And now we got this beautiful little pocket. Also, all of these instructions have directions for an overlock or a zigzag stitch if you don't want your garment to fray. But if you don't have an overlock machine, you can always use a French seam or a felled seam. But for this tutorial, I'm just gonna use a plain seam for everything. All right, now we need to connect the shorts at the inner leg seam. So I'm gonna line the inner legs up and sew it down. It's the next day. Now we're gonna connect the right leg to the left leg. So we're gonna sew down the center front and the center back seams. The easiest way to do this is by turning one leg right side out and placing it inside the inside out leg. What? Okay, so I have my right leg inside out and I'm gonna put the left leg inside and that one is right side out. And we're just gonna pin them along the center. Now I'm gonna attach the waistbands. So first we need to take our waistbands and put them right sides together. And I'm gonna sew them down at the sides. And I'm about to mess up in about 5 seconds. What's a sewing project without messing up a few times? I forgot to leave a little slit in this waistband for the elastic to go through. So I'm gonna take my handy dandy little seam ripper and rip just like an inch hole, and then we'll hand sew this together at the end. All right, I'm gonna rip these little guys out, and this is what it should look like. This part makes attaching the waistband so much easier. So I'm just gonna fold the bottom of the waistband up 1/2 inch, which is our seam allowance. Did I mention that? We're sewing everything at 1/2 inch seam allowance. And then we're gonna fold it in half, hot dog style, and press that down. All right, then we're opening up what we just pressed, and I'm gonna pin it right sides together and then sew it all around. Now I'm gonna fold the waistband over to the other side of the shorts and pin it down. All right, I'm gonna sew as close to the edge as possible, and it should look something like this. All right, time for the fun part. We're gonna put the elastic in. So first, I'm gonna take my measurement, whatever length you decide, add an inch to it for seam allowance. Cutting that. Ooh, I'm nervous. Now for the really fun part, find yourself a safety pin. Put the, oh my gosh. I just lost it. It's in my hair. It's in my hair. Okay. Okay, I'm putting the safety pin through the end of the elastic. Pro tip, this worked better with the bigger safety pin. And I'm just gonna feed it through. Now I'm gonna pull the two ends and overlap them and sew it down. I'm gonna sew it back and forth a few times just to make it sturdy. All right, we're gonna make the pocket real quick. So first I'm gonna fold the pocket down by about 1 inch and press it. And I'm gonna top stitch that down. And then I'm gonna fold the other 4 sides in and press them. Now I'll slap that pocket onto the shorts and sew down the 4 sides. You don't wanna sew the top of the pocket or else you're never getting your hand in. And last but not least, for the shorts, I'm just gonna do a rolled hem at the bottom. So I'm gonna fold it once and then fold it again and then sew it down. Okay, now for the shirt. This won't take as long. I'm gonna take the back piece of the shirt, put it down, and then I'm gonna put the front sides of the shirt down right on top. And we're just gonna sew it at the shoulder seams. Now time for the facing. This is just a strip of fabric that goes down the neckline and it just binds the edges and makes it look neat. So we're gonna put the facings right sides together and sew it down at the center back. We're gonna press that open, clean off the lens, and attach that facing onto the shirt. So I'm lining that little part up that we sewed with the center back and I'm pinning it all around. Now I'm cutting tiny little triangles along the neckline. This just helps the neckline be able to stretch a little bit more. Okay, and the last part for the facing, I'm gonna press the seam allowance up towards the facing, and then I'm gonna make a little seam right here on the seam allowance, right above my first seam, and it should look something like this. This just helps the facing be able to fold into the shirt. Also, if you have an overlock machine, the facing would be a great place to use that. It's the third and final day. We're almost done. Now we need to put the sleeves onto the top. All right, I'm putting the sleeve down and I'm gonna line the back of the sleeve up with the back of the shirt and I'm gonna pin it all around. Guys, it's starting to look like a shirt. Wow! All right, now we're putting this beautiful little cuff onto the sleeve. So I'm gonna take my cuff, fold it down just like we did with the waistband. I'm gonna fold it down on both sides, 1/2 inch. And then I'm gonna fold it hot dog style. Then I'm gonna unfold that cuff and attach it to the wrong side of the sleeve. Once that's done, we're gonna fold the cuff over to the right side of the sleeve, and then we're gonna sew it down really close to the edge. Now we need to connect the front of the shirt to the back of the shirt right here down the sleeve and down the side seam where they come together. All right, I'm gonna fold my shirt down, right sides together, and I'm gonna pin and sew along the sleeve and down the side seams. And then the shirt will turn into a real life shirt. And to finish the shirt, I'm just gonna do another rolled hem at the bottom. All right, now I'm making tiny little marks where I want the buttonholes and the buttons to go. And then I'm gonna load my magic little buttonhole contraption. So slide the button in, lock it in, and put it on my sewing machine. I'm gonna turn my stitch to buttonhole. I'm turning my length to buttonhole. I'm turning my width to 6, aka buttonhole, and then I'm gonna engage the buttonhole lever. And then just like magic, guys, you just sit back, press the pedal down, and it does all the work. I'm still amazed by this buttonholer. How many times did I just say buttonhole in the last 1 minute? Now, without stabbing all of my fingers, I'm taking my seam ripper and I'm gonna rip the middle of the buttonholes. Don't rip the seams, just the middle. Please don't stab your fingers. This is getting violent. And last but not least, I'm grabbing a needle and thread. Pro tip, measure it to your forearm. That's all you need for putting a button on. And I'm just gonna hand sew all of my buttons. It's done! This is so cute! This is so cute. I need to go put this on. Alright guys, we're at the end of our journey again. As always, like, comment, subscribe, tell your grandma to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!